On the same date every year my ex and I meet up to go camping, and every time it ends up with the best sex of my life. The date is coming up very long. Some years ago I decided to go alone on a beautiful 2-day hike a few hours away from where I lived. I decided to do it because I wanted to challenge myself, as I hadn't really done much on my own at that age and highly dependent on other people. If you're familiar with the route and in good shape, you can complete it in one day, but due to me getting lost and stopping to enjoy the scenery, I had to set up camp twice. A couple of years later I met a girl that I fell in love with instantly. I hadn't been with anyone before, so to me she was extra special, and within 6 months of meeting each other we moved in together. After being together for a little over a year and a half, I took her to the same trail that I hiked alone years earlier, and we had an amazing time. We didn't rush it, but because I knew the route we finished late on the second day. The year after and on the same date we walked the trail again. Due to some bad weather we had to set up camp twice. Even though that year wasn't as good as the first, we enjoyed it a lot. Third year of being together, things wasn't as good as the previous years. I could feel something was wrong in our relationship, but it being my first relationship I didn't know it had run its course. In an attempt to bring back the spark, I suggested we should do the trip a third time and she agreed. We had a good time, but it just wasn't the same. A little bit after this I ended the relationship because I could tell she wasn't happy. Or I thought she wasn't happy. The next few months absolutely sucked for me. I decided to go no contact because talking to her would be too hard. I still loved her very much. I struggled a lot for about 8 months. I quit my job, I moved back in with my parents, and I isolated myself completely. I quit doing anything that reminded myself of her. We used to watch TV shows together, play games on my Nintendo, we cooked together and had our favorite recipes. I stopped doing all of this. I couldn't even go back to dating. Even flirting with girls felt wrong. I was absolutely miserable, so in an attempt to get my shit back together, I thought it'd be a good idea to reintroduce myself to the things we did and make them my own. I cooked our favorite meal, I watched the last season of Game of Thrones, and I invited a friend over to play Mario Kart. It was depressing at first, but after a bit I managed to enjoy doing it without her. Thinking I was getting over her, I figured I should go on our hike once again alone, just like I did the first time. It was the ultimate symbolic nail in the coffin of our relationship. My plan was to start dating again after this trip, and I knew exactly who I was going to ask out. The day came for the trip, and I was getting ready. I was excited, but a little bit depressed as well. I felt butterflies in my stomach and a little bit nauseous. I was shaking more and more the closer I got to the parking site. I arrived late in the day as my sleep schedule had been rather out of sync for a very long time. Once I got my gear out of the car I debated not doing the trip at all. It didn't feel right somehow. After thinking about it for some time I decided to do it. I had to do it. I didn't enjoy it at first, but it was a beautiful day, so I came to enjoy it after the first hour or so. I was getting hungry, so I looked for a spot to camp for the night. After eating and thinking for a little bit I decided to walk a little longer. I remembered the first camping spot my ex and I used, and it was only a 25-minute walk or so. Once I got there I spotted another tent in the exact same spot as we were in the first time. I tried to look around for a person, but there I couldn't see or hear anyone. I set up my tent not too far away, but not too close either, so they wouldn't feel creeped out. I sat outside with a fire enjoying the dusk. It was getting dark when I heard the neighbor talking on the phone. It was a girl and her voice was so recognizable I freezed up for about a minute. I tried to listen to what she said, but I couldn't make it out. I was 90% sure it was her, but it had been a long time. She didn't talk after that, so I guess she fell asleep. I on the other hand could not sleep at all. I was still using the same tent my ex and I used when we went together. I hoped she would recognize it in the morning, but to make sure I left my sweater outside that I'd had for years. When I woke up the next morning I had hardly slept at all. My entire body screamed for me to look outside and see if the neighbor tent was still there. When I finally did, I saw that it wasn't. I got out, ready to eat my breakfast, and then I saw her. It was really her. She waved at me and after a few seconds I waved back. She came over towards me and said hello. I asked her why she was there and she told me she enjoyed the hike so much she wanted to do it again. I asked her if she was with anyone and she said no, it was just her. I remember thinking it was a little odd as she'd always been a little scared at night when we were together. I couldn't imagine her ever going alone. I was also very shocked to even see her again. I can barely remember what happened just after that, but I remember eating my breakfast and sharing some of my cookies with her. She showed me her new tattoo and told me she was planning to get more. I never took her for a tattoo person. She had changed so much, but she still had the same personality. For the rest of the way we walked together, we talked and we laughed. Eventually we made it to the second camping spot and we set up our tents. We got ready to eat and compared our foods. I brought MRE spaghetti and she had stale crisp bread, not exactly sure what it's called in English, and liver pate. She looked a little disappointed, so I asked her if we could switch because my stomach hurt a little bit and I didn't feel like eating spaghetti. She didn't accept at first, but after some convincing she happily accepted my offer. It was getting late, so we decided to head to bed. I was crazy tired after walking all day, so I fell asleep almost immediately. Sometimes during the night I woke up and heard her coming into my tent. She told me she was hearing some scary sounds. I told her I couldn't hear anything. She mumbled something for a bit and then asked me if she could sleep in my tent with me. I was half asleep but somehow managed to move my stuff around enough to make room for her. She brought her sleeping bag and got inside. I was just about to fall asleep when I heard her taking her clothes off and suddenly I was wide awake. She never enjoyed sleeping with her clothes on, so I knew she was naked. She also made sure to leave her bra between our sleeping bags so I could get a good look on it. It took some discipline to fall back asleep, but eventually I managed to do it. When I woke up the following morning she was still sleeping and I was spooning her. I had set up my tent with a little bit of an incline, so sometimes during the night she must have inched closer and closer to me. After